Meantime, Nigeria is hosting the French President Emmanuel Macron on July the 3rd. He'll be meeting the President, Muhammadu Buhari, on one hand at the Villa. Then, of course, tomorrow is going to be a little bit busy in Lagos. And, of course, you already heard the announcement of what to call the traffic and vehicular directions from the Lagos State authorities. The Vice President is expected to be in Lagos tomorrow and together with the Lagos State Governor, Ambode, to host the French President, who will be being around the Ikeja Central Business District. The French President, Macron, will be attending Africa Business Forum and later in the day visit the Felas Africa Shrine. That will be, that's for entertainment. The shrine there is not about any traditional whatever, but it's going to be about music, entertainment. Of course, Fela Anikulapo Kuti, Nigeria's late maestro when it comes to music. And then, of course, that's going to be, so the vehicles and the vehicular traffic is being directed around the Alausa Central Business District. In case you're unaware, it's going to be very busy tomorrow in the city of Lagos. So that will be a little bit on at the uptown. That's what you call it. So downtown tomorrow, Tuesday, the 3rd of July, the central bank officials is holding an interactive session with stakeholders on the salient issues around the implementation of the new Naira Yuan swap, about $5 billion US, details signed between Nigeria Central Bank and the Chinese People's Bank of China. It's called a PBOC. That's what they call the central bank, the PBOC. That's People's Bank of China. And that started last week in Kano. The train by the central banks moved to Lagos tomorrow, downtown, while Emmanuel Macron, the French president, the vice president, and the state governor will be uptown to some business and entertainment. Definitive African there. You want to be part of that. Meantime, in about 3 weeks from now, precisely July 23rd and 24th, the meeting, the MPC meeting, what we call the Monetary Policy Committee meeting of the Central Bank, will take place. But the window seems to be closing on the central bank ability to cut interest rate before the full-blown 2019 electioneering process will have some indication or what you called direction from the central bank when this meeting takes place in 3 weeks' time. Will the regulator, therefore, tinker with other key parameters like the cash reserve ratio, what they call a CRR, or liquidity ratio for banks ahead of the electioneering spending? This meeting is very crucial. July 23rd and 24th will have what the thinking from the MPC meeting there. You want to put that also, mark that down on your calendar. Meantime, if you haven't taken advantage of the tax amnesty, the window has already closed. The second deadline expired on June the 30th, a few days ago, on that voluntary assets and income declaration program. There's no words of likely extension yet from the Finance Ministry or the Inland Revenue Service or the FIRS. And finally, on what to expect in the second half, a bit of our economic data on our calendar. This will be key. There's no word yet from the National Bureau of Statistics on the outstanding fourth quarter 2017 unemployment data. We're counting on the NBS to release that. If you go online and check, there is no provision for the release of the fourth quarter 2017 unemployment data for Nigeria for this month of July, unless anything else happened. So that is on one side. And then we have the second quarter GDP report. That also is not on the calendar of NBS for second quarter, but we expect the NBS to make that good within the second half of the year. Meantime, we're looking at the June CPI and inflation data, what we call the Consumer Price Index and inflation report. That will be out on the 13th, just about 10 more days to on that. Then we'll have the 2017-2018 socio-economic survey. That should be out tomorrow, according to the NBS calendar. And of course, finally, the road transport data for the second quarter of 2018. These are some of the stories we're tracking for you as far as the second half of the year is concerned. Then, of course, we woke up this morning to the independent data of Nigeria's manufacturing for the month of June. We concluded 48 hours ago. FBN Quest new report says Nigeria's manufacturing index, or the PMI, reading, quote, fractionally underwater as the index tiptoes to 49.8 reading last month against 49.2 in the month of May. 2 of 5 sub-indices measured by FBN Quest declined last month. 3, according to the reports, are now in negative territory. And those 3 sub-indices were output. Manufacturers are producing less. Employment also in negative territory, as well as what are called inventory or stocks of purchases. Those data are sourced largely from medium and small, large, small, and medium companies, in particular the purchasing managers. Then you have the respondents' explanation for the declines. According to the report, quote, rainy season is to be blamed, including the stiff competition domestically and from China, and soft demand due to pressure on purchasing power of Nigerians. So FBN Quest concluded that manufacturing appears to have settled on a plateau, or manufacturers sitting what you call the proverbial fence, sitting on the fence, with sectors having free access to FX, but unsure of demand growth. Okay, that's your June report. Of course, on Friday, the Central Bank of Nigeria reported it's a June PMI. You can have all that together in our news at 11 o'clock within the hour. Let's move on to the market. This is what the final trading day in June looks like, or the final trading week in the month of June. 1.1% gain on our index. We're below the 39,40,000. Don't look for any of those numbers yet, and you know what was responsible. We had a bit of an uptick in equity index to 13.86 trillion naira, but we're still below the 14 trillion by as much as 200 billion plus local currency. Flip that away. Look at the main activity for last week. 2 billion shares, 21.58 billion naira, less than 20,000 transactions. But the banks kept their red flag till the end of the week, 1.09% weakening. The consumer goods made about 2.6% on the counter. Industrial goods about 2.7%. If you take that away, folks, let's see the 5 sectors. Then insurance added 0.66%, sidestepping their bigger cousins, the banks. And then oil and gas was a negative 1.73%. That happened mainly with the oil and gas on Friday, where Forty Oil lost 3.52%. As a bellwether, Owando was down 1.54%, and Japol 2.70% in the red, despite some gains by Mobil, 1.1%, Total gained 4.74%, and Eternal Oil about 5%. That's a bit of a wrap there for you on the what's listed oil and gas stocks. So you need to keep an eye on today's trading. Then, of course, on the NESD over-the-counter market, that was 0.95% on Friday, and the market, USI, down at 651.69 reading. Let's come back after the break. You're watching Business Morning, the first business day in the month of July.